Hi, I'm Geeta Nadkarni. I am the founder of Impact with Influence, and I help subject matter experts, so coaches, consultants, and subject providers, design high-ticket programs. So you're going to be at the top of your field charging what you might consider crazy money at the moment. And the way that we do this is we teach you how to attract, close, and then satisfy your clients in a way that they have never experienced. And I know that this works because we don't just work with you on a conscious strategic level, because what I've realized is that we can give you the most fabulous, proven, distilled strategy in the world. No busy work here. We're talking about 3 simple steps. We can give it to you, but if you have limiting beliefs in the back of your mind that are preventing you from showing up, preventing you from really understanding what this might mean for your business, none of it will work. And so that's what we do. We work with you on both a conscious and a subconscious level, but that's not the exciting part today. Today, I would like to introduce you to one of our clients, the fabulous, the gorgeous, the whip smart Jen Berson. She is the founder of here, I'm going to bring her up. There she is. Hey, Jen. How's it going?
I'm liking this intro so far.
Yeah. Well, she's the founder of Generation PR, which is a 7-figure PR agency that she founded with no contacts, no background. She was a trained lawyer, and everybody told her she was absolutely cuckoo bananas, and she went and did it anyway, and then built this awesome, massive PR agency that specializes in lifestyle and beauty brands. And if you happen to be either a PR professional who is burnt out and undercharging, and you have this dream that you'd like to, create the ease, do what Jen did, basically create a 7-figure lifestyle business that gets shit done but doesn't kill you in the process, or if you are an agency owner, you run a PR agency right now, and that dream of yours has turned into a nightmare of overwork and underpay, you need to talk to Jen, because by working with us, she created Agency Accelerator. So Jen, tell us all about Agency Accelerator, please.
Geeta, I'm so excited to talk to you and get to kind of blow smoke up your you-know-what.
It's good.
Because this program probably wouldn't be possible without you. I say probably because I had the wheels in motion, but you landed in my life at the exact right time, and no pun intended, accelerated my growth in this program faster than I ever could have imagined. I pre-sold it, to the tune of like $36,000 before I ever even created a single lesson. So I had that proof of concept. But what this program is an 8-week, soup to nuts. It's like a business in a box. Here is how you launch, grow, and scale a profitable agency, and do what I did, which is create it around your lifestyle. And I know you mentioned that I was a lawyer. The reason that I left that career and did something totally that's just a complete 180, and like you said, with no contacts and no training, I mean, literally people were like, what in the F are you doing? Are you crazy? I looked around and I didn't see any women like us that were driven, that had, balance. I know it's loaded, but had a life that really served them and were able to serve others, and also, had families that they saw and like could be room mom and could be volunteering in their classes. And I knew that was the life I wanted for myself. I wanted a business where I could run it and build it as big as I wanted, where all of the upside was mine, where I could work with the kind of clients I wanted to work with, and do it around my schedule. And, 14 years ago, I started my agency, and I was able to do just that very thing, which to me is the best decision I could have ever made. Well, aside from then meeting you and joining in your program, but we're getting to where that comes into play. But and just really feeling like this is such a gift to be able to be, with my kids and be connected really to my family, my husband. My son in this process was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, which, is a lot of effort, and getting him the services that he needs. And my business allows me to do that. So what a gift it is to know how to teach someone else how to do that for themselves. and give themselves that kind of a business. So it kind of clicked in my head, this is how I'm meant to serve. This is what I can teach. And then I was like, okay, I'm ready to teach it. What do I do?
and that brings us beautifully to that moment, right? So if we were to rewind, so now you're on the other side, you've got it running, you've made you've made that little bit of money to prove that you did pretty well, to prove that it actually works, right? And now you've got the entire system in place that's going to allow you to rinse, repeat, and scale, which is awesome. Totally. But let's rewind to you 10 weeks ago, which is where you were at, or around, you've just, you're a few weeks after you've graduated Impact at this point. So, but
and I still want more. I'm like you. I can't stop bothering you. I can't get enough Geeta. Like, Aww. What do you mean I'm done? No, don't push me out of the nest. I need more. So, anyway, sorry.
No, if you were to rewind to back when you got on an epiphany call with me, tell us where you were at, because you had tried to launch a different program at that point. Yeah. And it had been a long process. It had been an 18-month journey, right?
Longer.
Oh, longer than that? Okay.
Oh, yeah, much longer. So I have a program called Press Success, and it is a DIY PR program for entrepreneurs for both brands with physical products and experts. And I worked on that program for probably 2.5 years. And, all the while I'm running my agency, and that was when my son, got his diagnosis, and we had to fight to get him in the right school. And, excuses aside, something wasn't clicking, and it just was taking me so long to create this program. And part of it was that this isn't really what my audience wanted from me. This isn't where I was in my zone of genius. I mean, sure, I can teach you, and you teach this too, and this is how we've also clicked, is this mutual passion for teaching this and knowing how it can transform a person's life or their business. But that's not the thing that people have asked me about for years. It's been, how do you either do my PR for me, or how do I run an agency like you have? So I struggled in developing that program, and I finished it, and I'm very proud of it. It's really a great program, but I was having a really hard time finding my audience, and it's really a mismatch with the messaging. The messaging has been way off. It's been too broad. It hasn't been laser focused on really poking at their pain, which is a Geeta-ism, right? We want to, get people to really see that they can't live without this, And
I love that you're bringing this up, because you, of all people, I mean, I've followed you personally for years, because we were in the same space, right? The do-it-yourself PR. Technically, I guess you could call us competitors, but I like to think of us as collaborators.
Oh, I was like lurking on you for years. I'm like on every Geeta webinar, like, I love this girl. She's got the energy, and I'm just like, but I'm not buying her products because I
know how to do it.
But I wanted to see how you were selling, and
Absolutely.
I always was drawn to your style, and it resonated with me, and I know how to do this skill that you were teaching, but your sales approach was like, wow, how do I get me some of that, and
it's interesting that you bring that up, because like you said, you're a master of your craft. You're phenomenal you don't get to run a 7-figure PR agency if you don't know how to do PR. You knew the stuff. You were amazing at it. And part of PR is messaging. That's what's so intriguing about this. And you brought that up, so I wanted to highlight it for everyone who's listening, because messaging is one of those things, it's like giving yourself a back massage. It's kind of impossible to do it to yourself. So even if you're really amazing at it, like I teach messaging, and I still have coaches that I work with when we do our own messaging. So it just goes to show. And then the way that we do messaging is also deeper, right? Like we got really deep into this sense of service. So we'll get to that. So at this point, you've spent 2.5 years. What have you tried to launch this Press Success program at this point? What have you don't sit on your hands. That's not you. So what have you tried so far at this point?
Oh my gosh. Well, I did my first, product launch formula style massive launch with all of the expensive pre-recorded videos, following the formula, and also in that process completely like washed away any modicum of personality, because it was teleprompter, sitting in a chair, just my audience resonates with me when I'm real, because, that's our style. And I followed the formula and I did what I was told, and this works over and over and over. And that stuff doesn't really work anymore. People want realness. They want authenticity. And I feel like as much as I put in there, but I put my videos out into the world, and I put my ads on Facebook, and I spent way too much money.
Can you give us a sense of where?
Yeah, I mean, I'm embarrassed to say, but I spent multiple 5 figures on Facebook ads for this launch, because in my mind, I did the calculation. Well, if I get this many into the top of the funnel, blah, 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 if I want this launch, here's what I have to spend. And
so you're not green to this. You're not, how the system works, and you're playing the quote unquote numbers game, but it's as you say, right? Following the formula, and you must have spent so much money just shooting the videos alone. Is just, it's so much work.
Yeah. Yes.
But the problem is, if that deep messaging piece isn't quite aligned, none of this stuff matters.
Yeah. People liked the content. They were like, great, thanks, but they didn't feel the need. They weren't convinced, and it was a lot of additional teaching. Like, you're on these videos and you're like, I'm just going to continue teaching you things so you see how smart I am and how much I know, and then you'll want to buy the thing that I'm selling because it's even more teaching.
Right.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work. And I tried it that way. I tried another launch in a more lean way, and it worked better. It was a much smaller goal. I was really trying to see, does this product, is there an audience for this product? And I determined yes, but in that process, because the launch still felt really lackluster and it felt really quiet. And I do things big, like this is why we really connect with each other. Like, we go big or go home. And I was like, I've spent so much time and money. I mean, this is the least passive income I have ever made, was launching that course. So as I was going through this process, it just hit me over the head like a ton of bricks. This isn't what people want to know from me. This isn't the thing that I meant to teach. There are other people teaching it. There's a really big audience for it. I'm not going to scrap that program. But right now, this other program that is the much more expensive, much more transformative, life-changing. And I mean, I'm getting on these calls. I know you're going to get to this, but I'm getting on these calls. I'm walking through your process, and the people I'm speaking to are like having major transformations just from the hour on the phone with me, crying, realizing where they're stuck, and begging me, like, what do I do? Help me. How do I fix this? I never thought of it. Like, everyone says, I never thought of it like that. You hit the nail on the head. These are the things people are saying.
Goosebumps.
I mean, seriously, and I'm literally just like, I've got my, it's not a script. I'm not walking through, it's a flow, and I'm walking through your flow, and people are like, what do you have? How do we fix this? And I'm getting, how much is it? It doesn't matter. I want it. Whatever it is, I want it, which is crazy because it was so hard to sell a much less expensive product.
Yep.
It works. This stuff works.
That's right. And the reason it works is, yes, your messaging is obviously on point now. But the messaging, okay, so a lot of people misunderstand messaging. So I just want to be crystal clear about what we're actually talking about here. So a lot of people think messaging is your tagline, your name, how you say what you do, it, like all of that jazz, like what's on your business cards and all that other stuff. And that's true. All of those things
are like, what's the stuff? Like, what's in the program, the stuff.
Exactly.
Like, tell me all about the modules and what do I get?
Exactly. None of that works in today's world, where people have been trained for multiple years at this point to expect your best information for free. Internet marketers have been teaching us this since 2012. So now by, where we're at right now, people have come to expect your best information for free. So they're not stupid. They're not going to then hand over their credit cards for more information when they know that they got your best stuff for free.
Right.
That's part of it.
Right.
But like what we were getting at, which is the messaging piece. Everybody thinks that the messaging is the outward facing stuff. It's all the words. It's all that like it's like the icing on a cake, really. The way we do messaging, and the reason that our stuff works so well, and the reason that you're having people cry and send you thank you notes and love notes on a day-to-day basis is because the way we do messaging is we dive into the cake section, which is your purpose, the alignment, and sort of how you are meant to serve. So if you feel like you're not connecting with the right clients, there's some weird disconnect between what comes out of your mouth and what goes in their ears, it may not be the words that you're saying. It might, but chances are that lack of alignment runs much deeper. And that's what we shifted. And I don't know anybody else who does messaging that way, because everybody just does the words, right?
The words, it's you can't really understand the impact. And I know, and it's funny because that's your program, Impact with Influence. I mean, I handed over my credit card and bought it, and then what did I say to you?
What's the name of that program? What did I just buy?
What did I just buy? Doesn't even matter. You didn't tell me about the modules and the stuff. I didn't care. You taught me the transfer. You convinced me of the transfer what I needed. But anyway, the impact, you cannot understand the impact and how transformative this approach is until you're actually in it. And it's all, you're working on yourself, your own limiting beliefs, your own preconceived notions of what you think your clients need, what you think you need to be saying to them, and also where you are stuck, but they're your blind spots and you just don't really know where they are. So there's the inward work that we do. It's almost like therapy. Like this is kind of it. I mean, if anyone's kind of afraid of that, I don't know why they would be. Some people are kind of afraid to do that deep work and or they'll listen, but they're not truly coachable. This is a program that sheds all of that away and gets to this place where you're working on yourself so that you can do that deep work and serve others the way that you're truly meant to serve. And that's what I've been looking for. Everybody has given me the tactics, the stuff, the workbooks and the modules and whatever. And that's helpful, but you have to have this like inner drive to do it. There is a true transformation here because there is work on yourself, your mindset, and all of that throughout the program. And that's where true transformation occurs. That's what I think, the difference. And I know you're focusing on messaging and all of that. There's more, to me, there's more, I know you know that, but there's more to it.
For sure. And it's funny because when you say the word mindset, everyone's like, I don't need no mindset. I'm super driven. This is what I hear all the time, right? Because the people that we most work with are people like you and people like me. High achievers. We're not slackers. If anything, we work harder than everybody else. But it's just that we might be working 75 hours per week in the wrong direction.
Right.
And the reason that the direction is wrong is because our lens is all muddy, and our internal, and I'm talking about our internal lens, because your beliefs color your perception. Your perception colors your actions and what you think is possible. Your actions determine your results. If your core belief is pointing you the wrong way because you think only one thing is possible, or you're receiving information from your clients and it's triggering this deep core wound, because that's often what it is. It often is. And I'll tell you what some of these core wounds can be. They can be, I'm not good enough. I'm not enough. That's often one that comes up. If I get too big and shiny, and if I truly show up for who I am, I will not be loved. People in my life will leave. We have a lot of people that we work with who have this deep core belief. You think that's not going to show up when you want to pitch the press and get on Oprah, or get up on stage and talk about what it is you truly really do, not the comfortable surface level stuff, but the really deep transformative stuff. You can't open your kimono that way and serve the clients the way that you're meant to serve if deep down you're terrified that if you show up and they see you, they'll run screaming. Right? And
yeah.
So you hide behind busy work, which is often, and this is something we talked about on our call, right?
Yeah, and for me and you, we align with the like perfection paralysis. That's really my problem, is that I bounce around to a lot of things, and I have all of these things that I want to be doing, and I don't fully finish any one thing, because if I finish it and put it out there, it's out there for all the world to see, and what if it's not perfect? And I also had this mindset. I mean, I've been around for a long time. I've had my agency 14 years. I'm not like a newbie off the street. So I thought, you know, my branding, my look and feel has to be beautiful and high end. There's no like minimum viable product with me. It has to be finished and perfect like everyone else that's doing it. But, you know, and I was stuck in that perfection paralysis. And it got me nowhere. It got me running in place. And I saw all these other people, like, you know, surpassing me. And I was like, wait a minute, you know, I could, you know, I should and I couldn't, whatever. And
you were better. That's the part that hurts. Your stuff was better. Your stuff is real. You had this deep desire to serve. This wasn't just about marketing for you. This wasn't just about making money. It's not, because you were already making money. You, if you wanted money, you'd grow the agency side of things. You wouldn't be doing this. This was about service for you. And that's where, again, we have a lot of people who are like, God damn it, I have this thing. I have so much love. I have so much joy and purpose that I want to then give, because I know what it's like to feel lit up like this, and I want to give it. And then everyone's like, sound of crickets. Everyone's looking somewhere else. Everyone's like, not the right time. And that hurts. That hurts. What was the most frustrating thing for you of being in that place of, I have this thing, I want to give it to you, like, and no one's raising their hand, or very few are?
I mean, just the amount of effort and time and quality and a process that I put into that product that's really good. I know it's good. And the people that have invested and come on board with, I mean, they're still sending me notes to this day, but I wasn't finding that audience en masse that I needed to. I mean, if I'm going to spend all this time developing it and I really want to help as many people as possible, then I have to find those people. And I was really, you know, it was like, even if they came in and saw my stuff, I, you know, whoa, you're great, your story's inspiring, that was really helpful, that was really useful. Like, people liked it, but they weren't driven to make a change and to come on board with what I was offering them. And for me, that was immensely frustrating, because I was working for no money. I mean, losing money, you know, all the money I had invested. And I was like, if it was just this one course, if it was just this other one thing, and I was like in course acquisition thinking all of this information was going to come into my head by osmosis, but I needed to be implementing something different, and I couldn't figure out where the disconnect was. I just couldn't figure it out. And
the longer you stay in, that mode, pardon for interrupting, the less clear it becomes, right? Like that, it kind of, and then the failure stories start to stack, and then you start to think, but I tried that and it didn't work, and I tried that, it didn't work, and then all of a sudden your hands get tied more and more and more, and you're just like, well, I don't know what else to try at this point. Like, I remember that was one of the things you said to me on the call. So when we finally got on the call, what was the thing that got you on the call where you're like, I need to get on this call, I need to talk to this woman, and maybe she's full of it, but I need to find out?
Well, I knew you, so I knew you weren't full of it, but I was kind of like, what's she up to now? Like, what is this new thing, you know? So I had been on your list forever, and anytime you did a webinar, I, like, lurked on it and whatever. And then you had another webinar, and really the message that hit me over the head was, I'm going to paraphrase because I don't remember exactly how you said it, but it was that we want to serve. We have these services that we can offer. We have just massive expertise that we can share that's transformative for other people, and yet all we're doing with our time is marketing. Just marketing. And it feels like you're on a hamster wheel and you're just running in place trying to find that audience. We have figured out a better way. It doesn't have to be like that. And I have felt like that for years, that all I'm doing is running in place, trying to market. And like professionally, I'm a marketer. I'm a, PR, social media marketing. I have no problem with it, but it wasn't working. And I just felt like I know running faster and going harder is not the answer. And you positioned it in a way that's like, it doesn't have to be like that. You don't need to be spending 80% of your time marketing the thing that you're looking to serve. And I was like, I'm jumping on that call. I'm jumping on that call. And then you said, like, one of our salespeople will get on the phone, and then it was you, and I was like, oh my God, it's Geeta. And she said, what did you say? Oh my God, it's Jen.
Well, yeah, because I knew who you were when I saw your name come, but I was like, wait a minute, I know that name.
Yeah, and I just,
And we'd never actually spoken before. Like, we didn't know each other. We knew of each other. We'd kind of followed each other, but we weren't friends or anything. We'd never actually spoken or communicated.
Yeah.
So that was really,
and now we're like
for me.
Climbing a mountain together, but that's a whole other
story.
She's very persuasive. I'd never exercised in my whole life, and now I'm training to scale the
equivalent of Mount Denali, which is the highest peak in North America. This is a hardcore endurance event.
Oh God, she's very convincing. So we're doing that, but yeah, and I got on that call, and of course I was like, I'm coursed out. I don't need anything else. I'm fine. I got the information. I just wanted to hear, like, what's the difference? What do you have that's different? Anyway, so, and we know how persuasive you are. It wasn't even about persuasive. It was just taking a look at how am I going to change? What is the change that's going to happen if I keep doing things exactly the same way?
Yeah. And I didn't give you
not more of the same. That's not the answer.
Right. So what we did on that call was really simple. It's what I do on every Epiphany session, which is first of all, you have a form that you fill out that gives me a baseline of information so that I can go and do more research, which I always do, because once a journalist, always a journalist. I'm not going to show up unprepared. That allows me to then ask you much deeper questions than your typical, discovery call type person might ask you. And what my intention is really to understand, okay, like, what have you tried? Where are you at? What is the goal? And then how can we connect the dots between those places? And, half the people we speak to are not the right fit for us. They're trying to build something that's completely either, in my opinion, undoable, or something that's like way out, like an MLM thing or some, if you're an MLM person, I'm not your girl. If you're looking for passive income, where you like have an online program and money just falls in your bank account, I'm not your person. Like, that's not the business I'm in. There are a lot of internet marketers out there who do that. What I'm looking for are the people who want to feel lit up, who get out of bed every morning filled with energy because they love what they do. They love the job aspect of it. They love the business aspect of it. I have goosebumps. They love the money because they're making crap tons of it. They have impact. That's a technical term. Yeah. And like all of those pieces have to live together. And that is what we help design. So I was like, if you want to design your typical course, there's lots of really cheap, much cheaper options out there. Please go find them. I'm not your person. But what we did was we got you to understand what it is you were trying to do. The real kernel of truth in there, which was not to create passive income, which was not to launch a press course, which was not any of those things. And we figured out what it was. And I was like, well, how would you feel about doing it like this, this, and this? And you were like, yes.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
What was that like? What was that like?
I had been thinking about it for quite a while, and I had started to mention it on social media to see if there was interest, and there was. And so then my mindset was, I need to serve this audience because they want this, and I want to give it to them. But the thought of embarking down another path like I had tried, and I wouldn't say it failed, it's still there. It's this beautiful 100%. Asset, and I'm going to make it work, but the angst and the struggle to get it out into the world I couldn't do it again. And I had an idea of how I wanted this to look, and you just crystallized it for me on this call. And I had, you know, in my mind, I was like going to be always in a mindset of trying to sell like a start group, so that it's a constant, like, okay, I got to fill the group. And what if this group has only one person and they're going to feel so left out? And we had another approach to it, and it just made so much more sense to me. And it felt like it was going to fit so much better into, you know, I'm still running an agency. I'm still a mom with my 2 little kids. I'm still a wife. Like, I still have, you know, things I want to do with my life that's not constantly selling this thing all the time.
Climbing a mountain, you know? For example.
Oh my God, I cannot believe you're making me do that. No, we're doing it together, and now I'm a workout person. This is, you know, whatever. But
another transformation.
Another transformation. My husband just jumped on right before we went live and was like, thank you, Geeta, for doing what I have never been able to do in 15 years. Get this woman to put a pair of exercise shoes on and actually get her butt moving, which is true.
My plan is working.
You're very persuasive. But yeah, so it was just this on the call. It was just, I mean, it was an epiphany, like you say, of I can do this, and it doesn't have to be so freaking hard and drain me. And, you know, and I can really just put my effort towards serving others and putting out into the world what I know how to do and what I know people want from me. Shortcutting that process.
Right. And so we dived right in, and I can't remember, when did you make your first sale?
Oh, I mean, it was like the second week, because I hadn't even gotten to the content yet. And I'm like, oh my God, I have a call. Can you unlock the content for me? And you were like, let's walk through this. And
because we have live coaching calls every week, so I'm not just hiding behind some content.
No,
the whole purpose is to support you and actually help it land
2 calls
for
a week.
Yeah, 2 calls a week. It's no joke. Yeah.
Which is like, I mean, most people want to consume the content at their own pace, but they're not truly checked in. You're like half paying attention and checking email. And when you make a commitment to be on these calls, and there's a lot that happens on these calls, and it's so interesting to see all of these different types of business owners at different stages of their businesses, reluctant ones, that she is like, I see you, and I am not afraid, and you do not scare me, and you dive head on, and those become your biggest, like,
success stories.
They're like, holy crap, this woman does not F around, right? So, you know, we're on these calls, and anyway, and I, like, so, you know, Geeta's very convincing in her, you know, genre.
In my
like
business, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. But I remember you were like, okay, let's just walk through this. You walked through an example for one of my students.
Right.
And it was like, you know, I was taking copious notes, and like a lot of the things that you talked about ended up coming up, and I had like a way to address it. But you talked about for another client, like in dating, like a dating coach, like a matchmaking coach, but like a high-end coach who was struggling to find her audience. And you were like, let's just walk through a sales call. And you served as the person, you know.
I was her. I was playing her, and she was playing the client.
Literally,
so we role play it, yeah.
Oh my God, it was insane watching you. I was like, sell blocks to an Eskimo. And you were at the end of the call, you're like, I don't know, I've never really thought about this industry before, and and you're married and you're off the market, you know, and it's like, how the F did you just do that? You literally got into the headspace of someone, got down 10 layers into the cake, like you're talking about, and obliterated any objection that they would have had, to the point where they are seeing in themselves where their limiting beliefs are kind of ruining their lives, and like eliminating their possibility of having the very thing that they desperately want. And you can do that with this process for, you know, my industry with PR, you know, coaching,
copywriting, whatever, like consulting,
everything.
all kinds of.
Oh yeah, it's just crazy, and it's such a different process. And look, I mean, you know, I have a really successful agency, and I have no problem convincing clients to give us these like nice, healthy monthly retainers. Like no problem. My sales calls go really well. I teach it in my program, but this is a different approach that is so transformative for the people you're talking to. And it's like
whether
awesome.
you buy or not, right? Like whether
Totally.
you buy or not, had you left that call choosing not to invest for whatever reason, you would have still left with the same gift of clarity.
Yes.
And that makes...
and they exactly. And I've had that, and you've seen on social media, I've had some of the people that are just like, they really can't afford, and they were like, whatever it is, I am working towards getting that so I can work with you. But this has given me so much to chew on, and I'm going to make some changes in my business. And every single call, someone says, you hit the nail on the head, which is crazy. It's like, they kind of think like, are you inside my, do you have a bug on my phone? Are you like, how do you know all of this about me? And it's literally like what they just told you.
That's messaging. That's
yeah.
messaging. That's how we
Yeah.
practice messaging. Because and that's why we also have a hypnotherapist on our team. Like I said, we work with you on a subconscious level. I know people are like, what?
I know. I love it. I love it. You told me that after the fact, and I was like, okay, like interesting. You know, it's
Right.
very interesting. And when I had my first experience with him, it was the weirdest thing, because I was like simultaneously felt like light as air and heavy as a brick. And I like came, you're alert. I could hear people driving down the street, but I'm not focused on that. And you come, away from it feeling so alive and so alert and so like ready to be creative or ready to serve or ready to sell or whatever we're working on.
You're in, basically, we help you build the muscle to get into flow. Flow is where you're in touch with your deepest intuition, your knowing. You are meant to serve the way you are meant to serve. So first we help you connect to that. This helps you connect to that. And then it helps you clear yourself. So that's why we call it clarity. That's where we start, is because like you said, when you can't get into somebody else's head if your own head is cluttered up with junk.
Right.
So what we help you
do, we all have it. We all have it.
We all have it.
It's about like, working on that. And yeah, it's just so different. I mean, it's just like people that want to just build a product, this probably isn't for them.
Yeah. Agreed.
But someone who's looking to make major changes in their life in such a positive way. I mean, this is showing up, Geeta, with how I connect with my family, how I show up as a mom, how I'm connected to my husband as a wife. He even said to me, like, whatever you and Geeta are doing together, like, it is working. Keep doing it. It's all working, and like, my agency's flowing. My agency accelerator program is like taking off.
So tell us about that. Like we never talked about what happened. So week 2, you had a call that had been set up, and you're like, okay, so we did a little role play. You figured out the flow of it, and
it went exactly
boom,
like
done.
that. So boom, done. Signed up. I said, listen, it's not even ready. She was like, no problem. And it took 5 weeks. I mean, I had at that point 6 people signed on, and I was like, all right, guys, we got this. Here's your start group. And they were all totally happy to just sit and wait while I built this thing out. And I did it week by week. And
we have a formula for how that is built as well. So was that helpful? Did you find that was helpful? Because I know you had an idea of where you wanted to start.
I had a rough outline, but it emerged as a comprehensive program that was truly transformational, and also like a roadmap. So it was like a system, which is how, I think you have to learn things, is like the flow, it's step by step by step. And I did start with a mindset and clarity component to begin with. And we busted through so many limiting beliefs. And I mean, it's a constant. Every call we talk about it. But I mean, the way that you helped me, I did not feel comfortable teaching mindset. And I've seen some of these calls, people are like regurgitating a script, and they're like, you have to be in the right mindset. And but I didn't feel comfortable really teaching it until I understood how transformation really occurs. One of the biggest challenges that my clients in this program face is imposter syndrome. Mm-hmm. And we really, I raised my hand. I want to talk about imposter syndrome. We talked about that in a way that turns it from something that limits you to something that is empowering you. Mm-hmm. And I constantly remind myself of that in my business. And I teach my students, and they're like, holy shit.
Because if you can think about that, right? What you just gave them. If you can take the energy that's weighing you down, that's keeping you contracted, that's making you feel afraid to show up, or you're like, oh, I hope they don't ask me that, or I don't feel comfortable teaching that, exactly as you said. Like, but although I kind of sense that it might be important, if I say that, they'll think I'm a fraud or whatever that is. So you're experiencing it, your students might be experiencing it. The fact that you've taken all of that energy and said, this is now available for you to do what you do, for you to be who you are more fully. And here's permission. Here's a permission slip. You're a walking permission slip now. I love that. That's what makes me so freaking happy.
It's been insane. I look forward to my weekly calls. So I have, several people enrolled in this program, and I'm 7 weeks into the content, and I am finalizing the 8th week. They're blown away by what I'm showing them. And also just how I'm showing up. They have felt unsupported and isolated in their businesses. And they now have support and someone who's done it that serves as a
mentor.
Proof. Yeah. A mentor, but also proof.
Yes.
Proof that this can be done.
Yes.
Leaving their job, doing this full time, career transitions, which is so amazing, successfully transitioning, which is like, are you kidding me? That is the most incredible feeling to help somebody do that. And, and it's just, the program is something I'm so incredibly proud of. I was showing my mom the back end of my platform for my membership area. And I looked at her and I said, this is my life. This is my life's work. This is how I meant to serve. This is the thing that makes me feel, aside from being a mom and, all of the things that I've done in my life to now, like with my, career switch, but this is the thing that I am meant to put out into the world and how I'm meant to serve. And it just feels insane, amazing. It's awesome.
And you built it all
in 7 weeks.
7 weeks. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't have to take forever. It doesn't have to be a struggle. And in fact, if you can gain that clarity, if you can get the support that you need, if you can do messaging the way that we teach it, which is to first dig deep into the messages that you carry, the messages you were meant to deliver, and then the words that go along with them, with the help of copy coaches who will help you write it till it's perfect. Yeah. So it's not like, here's a template, bye. We'll actually help you. We will help you rewrite. We will rewrite it for you if needed.
Dude, I hit up that help desk, I was like, me again.
And we love it. I want it. The more I see somebody pounding that help desk, the more I'm like, yes, you're doing the work. So people often apologize, and I'm like, no, never apologize for showing up. And this,
and it's interesting too. One of the things that I was like, oh my God, this doesn't have to be like that, is every single week I was like, what else am I going to teach? What am I, for free? What's my free content in my Facebook group? What's my thing I'm teaching? 6 steps to this, 5 ways to do that. And people liked it. It was fine. And you were like, do you really think anyone's actually implementing those things that you're talking about? Sure, it's interesting, it's helpful, whatever. We went through and figured out where my ideal customer avatar struggles and what are their pain points. And I'm building content around maybe I'm getting into your secret sauce here, but one single thing. And at the end of the discussion,
it's effortless, right?
Effortless, it flows, and people are resonating with this information. And at the end of it, I'm not even giving them anything. I'm not even saying to them, here's the solution. Here's the, you feel this way. Here's how you overcome that. It's really just piquing their
whetting their appetite. It's in a sense, it's interesting because in a sense, everything is wheels within wheels and circles within circles, right? You're creating a transformation for them, just as we create transformations on the calls that we get on, whether or not people buy. But, for the right client, the decision is a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer, right? So it's only if you're not the right fit or you're desperately broken, it really just isn't the right time, in which case it's like, I'm going to go find the money and I'm going to come back. So like those are basically the three outcomes that happen. What you're doing is you're creating with your content. What you're doing is you're hacking that issue that most people have, which is, oh God, please don't give me more information. My to-do list is endless. I'm already confused. I don't know what to do this. Or I'll receive this and I'll be like, oh, that was smart. That's a really good idea. And then I'll think I know it. But there's a big difference between knowing something and then knowing something by doing it on a daily basis. If it's not in your practice, you don't know shit. Pardon my French. Sorry. It's true. It's like if it's in your head and not in your life, forget it. Right. So what you do is you help reframe, and we have a whole system and a whole, we actually have like a 5-step process for it, or a 4-step, because why use an extra step if you don't need it, right? We have a 4-step process for exactly how we do that. And the engagement in your group just like went through the roof. Yeah, I know. And then you just like
one yesterday.
Yeah, you're like, I haven't even sent out an email yet, and I'm like, sales calls up the wazoo,
Yeah, it's been crazy, and exactly. I mean, it's like I'm sort of barely mentioning it, and to my audience, and I'm getting direct messages. Just getting people on the phone. I mean, it's crazy, and it's the right people. Like I'm attracting.
Yes.
Yes,
exactly.
It's crazy. Yeah. Yes. And I had a really particularly challenging sales call. I think it was yesterday or the day before. And I kind of like reached out with and you kind of went above and beyond because that's just who you are. And literally how we talked about the call was going to unfold is exactly how it unfolded. And I point blank asked this person, like, are you even coachable? Really got to the bottom, like, you really know everything. Are you even coachable? And I confidently determined that person was not the right fit for my program.
And you didn't offer it to them. And we
didn't make that offer. I mean, he was like, well, how much is it? And I said, I don't know that this is the right fit for you. And, good luck in your business. I mean, I tried to get to a place of like, really, I do believe that he received value out of the call.
Oh, for sure. But he may not have been open to it.
I don't know if you can hear that very loud. He was not open to it. And I really, got to that place where I was confident that, I knew I could help him, but he had not struggled enough in his business to really realize that he needed to make some meaningful changes. He really was looking for somebody to reassure him that he knew everything and everything he was doing was the right thing.
And you know what's beautiful about this is that you didn't feel any pressure to take him on regardless, because you already have so many right fit clients who are clamoring for your help.
Well, and he would have been like a nightmare.
Totally. But like a lot of us, sometimes we're like deep in our guts or even shallowly in our guts because like it's like right in front of us. We're like, this person is not right. I don't feel good about this. But you know what? I haven't had a client in like 10 years or whatever. I'm exaggerating. But, I haven't made any sales this month or whatever. I need to take this on. And you will never have that pressure. Because your messaging is so on point now. You're so crystal clear. You have this way of communicating. You don't have to put out. How much content do you put out on a weekly basis, right? Are you like slogging away like you used to?
No, not at all. I mean, it's like, oh my God, sorry, it's so loud outside. It's like one impromptu Facebook Live with no, pre-planning. And I just feel really laser focused and know that I'm delivering value, even though I'm not giving anyone any step-by-step how-tos or teaching them any strategies or implementation. It's other content that
they need. Yes, exactly right. This is what they need before the how-to can make sense. And that's what's beautiful about it, isn't nobody's getting ripped off, nobody is getting, used. There's no cloak and daggerness about or smoke and mirrorsness about any of this. It's all super helpful, because what I've realized is that if you give somebody, it's the same thing that we do in our program, right? If I were to give you the best strategy in the world, it's 3 steps, it's super distilled, we'll give you a freaking media list to make it easy for you. And which we do, but you will mess it up because you don't understand why certain pieces are the way that they are. You don't understand the purpose of it. You maybe are not fully aligned in your deepest place, like where your messaging comes from. You're not clear. You've got all this head junk to work through. None of that stuff will work. And so it would be a disservice, really, to give you all of that and say, this is what you need. Because then it's going to confirm that failure story for you, which is, I tried all this other stuff. I've done a gazillion million programs. There must be something wrong with me. Right. And there isn't. There isn't. It's been amazing. And I thank you. I know we've gone so long. I know. We could just keep gabbing. I know. This is amazing. Thank you so much, Jen, for sharing your journey. Do you have any last words for anybody? I'm going to, if you want to get on an epiphany call with me, if you want to actually experience what this is like for yourself. So just to know who it's for, you have to be an expert. You have to have some kind of deep expertise where you're amazing at what you do. I can't fix that part. If you suck at what you do, you're not ready for me. But if you're amazing at what you do and you just want to help people, you want to serve them, you want to help them, you want to do the things so that they can get this transformation, but you're not able to find the right clients, you're way undervalued, when you get up on stage and speak, everybody gives you a hug, tells you they love your energy, but nobody buys from you. If you're a coach, you're a consultant or a service provider, like, you have an agency of some kind, then I can help. So the link is impactwithinfluence.com/epiphany. Jen, what would you say to somebody who's kind of sitting there thinking, should I get on this call? Shouldn't I get on this call?
Literally, you have nothing to lose and only something to gain. And even if you are not, I got on this call and I was like, I'm not giving this woman my credit card. And at the end, I was like, how much is it? I have to have it. You will have, it's not even about buying the thing or investing in that. You value out of just the call, that it is so incredibly worth your time. And Geeta, honestly, I know how busy you are serving your audience and, being a mom and all of that. And I was shocked that you got on the phone with me and took that time and called me right at the right time and showed up fully and truly were there to serve and not sell. And whether or not I decided to continue my journey with you, that call was incredibly valuable, transformative, and worth my time. So I would tell anybody that's like, why am I listening to these two women just gab at each other? It's because something is piquing your interest, and I promise you that hour is worth your time. I see your little cat wants to go outside. He's looking at the doorknob.
But if I let her out, she'll just want to come back in.
Right.
Cats.
Anyway, so hopefully that helps. But and by the way,
yes.
This is the piece of clothing that I am the most proud of. It's so ugly too, but where is it? It is my Kajabi hero. So I've been on this platform for 3 years, amazed at the capacity.
Just for everyone who doesn't understand, Kajabi is an online course platform. So this is where you host your program. Where you host your
you host your content, and sky's the limit with whatever you want to do on this platform. It's insane. And I just struggled and struggled and struggled. You are offered this sweatshirt when you clear $50,000. And they just sent me my sweatshirt, Geeta. So thank you for that new article of clothing in my wardrobe. Maybe I'll bring it to the mountain when we climb.
Yes, we have to take a selfie on the top of that mountain. with you
We
wearing
will.
your Kajabi hero. That's going to make my day. Thank you, Jen. This is
Thank
awesome.
you so much.
Oh, thank you. And any of you, if you would like a taste of the magic, it's impactwithinfluence.com/epiphany. I'll put the link around here somewhere so you can find it easily. Take care. Bye.